The following tutorial is brought to you by WholeLoops.com.
It's production time. I'm Reid Stefan Realest Puppet in the game. Today, I'm bringing you 5 tips on how to improve your mastering when you're doing vocal production over a mastered beat. Now, this is a situation that you'll find yourself in a lot because you're either purchasing a beat off the internet, getting a file from somebody that you're collabing with, and you end up with a wave that has some limiting or mastering on it that you have no control over, and you have to do your own thing and then master that. So let's jump right into it. The example that I got is Galaxies by Sober Rob and Oshi featuring Kara on the vocal, one of the 2 tracks on Sober Rob's album that we did the vocal production for. Let's take a listen to it and see what we can do to improve this mastering. I jumped right to the loudest part of the song because I could tell for sure this is where we're going to be having our problem, because we have full volume music over 2 stacks of singing, and our master is definitely clipping. So tip number 1 is do some gain staging. Don't clip your master channel. Bring everything down until you have no clipping lights coming on. So I'm going to pull my beat down 6 and pull my vocal group down 6. And this is why it's important to make a sum for your vocals, or if you're using Ableton, just put all your vocal channels into a group so that you have one place to do broad volume adjustments like this, so that you can keep your mix and its balance intact just by bringing them both down the same value. Now let's take a listen to the loudest part of our song. Much better. Now we're ready to load up our mastering plugin. And recently, I've been getting some outstanding results with Ozone 8, and I've been developing a preset that will instantly get me close to my finished product called Ozone Master Sauce, available now at WholeLoops.com. And we're going to take a look at the settings on here. Now, if you want to see a full in-depth 30-minute tutorial on all the pages here and why the settings are the way that they are and what I go to and use for different situations, and I master 3 different songs, you can check out the private tutorial that comes with the preset. So let's play our song and check out the difference between some of these limiting modes, because depending on what material you're running through it, certain ones are going to work better than others. So let's just play it and switch between them. I already know out of personal experience, modern almost always wins for me, which is why it's a part of the preset. The other one that works very well for me a lot of the times too is IRC2, but I find this works better on mixes that are dull and can use some extra brightness, and modern works well on mixes that can use some extra fatness and roundness. So I almost always choose modern. And all of the work leading up to this final maximizer keeps it so that we don't get any huge spikes, even though we're doing an extra decibel of dynamic squeeze. So my tip number 3 is really just in the sauce. Know what your difference between your options are here on your final maximizer, so that you could choose based off of what you're running into it, what works best, and not just pull up a preset just because. But if you do want to pull up a preset just because, go for modern, because 90% of the time it's going to be your favorite. The next thing is over here on the right side, and it's called Dither. And this is an extra noise that the mastering plugin will add to your signal to do 2 things. I hear it musically bring the center out and the high end out a lot, and also when you convert it from a wave to an MP3, you'll retain a lot of clarity and brightness. But let's just play this and turn Dither on and off. For some reason, Ozone doesn't save your Dither settings with the preset, or else I would have saved it in there, but you have to remember to turn it on every time. So that's definitely major tip number 3. Do not forget to use a mastering plugin that has Dither. without the dither. And back on. Yeah, dither's very, very important. I'm sure you can find some other tutorial on exactly what's going on, but man, when I hit that button every time, it puts a smile on my face. So dither, mega important when doing vocal production over a bounce of music production.
Does your mastering sound like hot trash? Have you wasted countless hours trying to finish your song with no results? Introducing Ozone Master Sauce, our cleanest and most powerful mastering preset ever for iZotope Ozone 8. Sauce up your song today with Ozone Master Sauce. Available now only at holoops.com.
Speaking of sauce, the other thing that I like to do when I use this preset is just flick on all these different modules to make sure they're all indeed helping, because depending on how wide your mix is going into it or how distorted your mix is going into it, things like the exciter or the imager or maybe the second limiter before the maximizer may not be helping. So let's go over to a different part of the song and make some critical decisions.
You give me the golden ticket, the piece I was always missing. It's just the beginning, kicking, emotions are jumping.
I like the exciter.
Our bodies are animated, our eyes are blazing, when my mind is racing. How we galaxies, got you spiraling.
Let's go over here. I'm not sure about the imager. I think I might turn this one off. Where I really hear the difference when I turn this on and off is in the lower mids. I think I'm going to turn this on though, because a little boost in the lower mids helps it not feel so bright. The drums are ever so slightly more poppin' with this second, or I should say the first limiter off. I'm guessing that's because the drums have already been limited here in the print of the beat, but that's no problem. We can very easily turn that off, and we've already got our maximizer set to the proper settings, and since the beat has already been clipped off, we're not going to get any huge spikes at any point throughout this song. Because our vocals also pretty consistent in volume too, so we'll be pretty safe at not hitting this final maximizer too hard, because that's a very easy way to make it sound like trash, is to hit this thing really hard.
You give me the golden ticket, the piece I was always missing. It's just the beginning, kicking, emotions are jumping. The skyline is saturated, our bodies are animated, our eyes are blazing, when my mind is racing.
Let's turn the vintage limiter back on.
You give me the golden ticket, the piece I was always missing.
See, we're not hitting the maximizer hard at all. We now have the headroom to go and make this a little louder.
You give me the golden ticket, the piece I was always missing. It's just the beginning, kicking, emotions are jumping. The skyline is saturated, our bodies are animated, our eyes are blazing, when my mind is racing.
I think I'm going to leave it on and just meet in the middle with the final maximizer, and maybe even the threshold on this one too. But like I said, if you want to get a full 30-minute walkthrough on all the modules and my favorite settings, private video that comes with the preset, available now at holoops.com. And that brings me to my final tip, which is outside of the mastering plugin, but this is just going to help your mix sound a whole lot better and make it feel like the stems for the beat are a part of the vocal session and it's all getting mixed together. So that is this mix glue channel right here, and this is an aux receiving signal at about 10 decibels beneath unity gain, and then the vocal is getting sent at unity 0. So those are getting sent to this T-Rax 1176, and I do a shootout between this and the Waves one and maybe a UAD one, and usually it's the Waves one, but for some reason this song felt good with the T-Rax one, so that ended up in here. And I use these settings and run it at around -20 or -25.
You give me the golden ticket, the piece I was always missing. It's just the beginning,
So yeah.
The skyline is saturated.
And you'd think at this low of volume you wouldn't hear much of a difference, but it is immense. So mix glue. And what's going on here is in the gaps between the vocals, the beat is becoming ever so slightly louder. When the vocal's in, the beat's coming ever so slightly quieter. And that interaction in volume is so important in gluing this vocal production to this music production, which came from two completely different sessions. And this one's probably been through its own master chain already. Mix glue is my number 5 final tip for better mastering when you're doing vocal production over mastered music production. So there you have it. I hope you found all the tips and tricks in this tutorial useful. And if you want to check out Ozone Master Sauce for yourself, I'll put a link to that in the description, and catch you guys next time with another tutorial. Peace out.